So in today's LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga news update, we've got a few bits of confirmation regarding the game with little bits of news here and there. We've also got a pretty interesting leak which we're going to get into. I'm going to see if this is credible from what we know. We're also going to dive into the information regarding that leak, but we'll get these few confirmations out of the way very soon because there's a lot of talk of the game being delayed as well, and I think there's some evidence for and against that, so we're also going to get into that. Like if you enjoy, everyone, subscribe if you're new, and let's go. So first of all, in terms of characters, this was going over the Reddit quite a bit. I thought I'd bring it up and confirm it here. So we know there's going to be around 800 characters in the game, with around 300 of them playable, the rest being NPCs, which are non-playable characters. These are maybe villagers you see walking around certain areas. And thanks to one of the developers on the game, we have this tweet. Yeah, the 800 is unique characters made in total for the game, so that includes all NPCs, variants, creatures, everything. So we know now that the 800 will include all versions of, let's say, the same character, such as Obi-Wan Kenobi. All the different versions of him will be included in this 800. The NPCs are included in this 800, and even the creatures. So for example, the Wampa that we know is coming to the game is classed as a character. So there will be 800 unique models, and it's not a case of 800 characters and that only includes one version of Obi-Wan. This includes all the different versions, so that's a lot of characters with around 300 of them being playable. It's nice to get some confirmation on that. Secondly, a little theory here, but I don't think it's got too much going for it, and I personally don't believe this, but when asking for a release date for the Skywalker Saga on Twitter in reply to LEGO's tweet about the Bits and Bricks podcast, where we received no LEGO Star Wars news, the LEGO Twitter page randomly replied with a link to the LEGO Ideas Medieval Blacksmith set, which may seem like nothing, but if you look at the set number, it equates to the 25th of March 2021. Now, could this just be a coincidence? Yes. Could it potentially be a release date? Well, I mean, they would have given away the release date right there with it on the official LEGO Twitter page without probably the confirmation to do so, considering TT Games, Warner Brothers, haven't released anything yet. So I really don't think this one is true. I suppose it's a possibility, but it could just be an admin error and they've accidentally replied to a release date comment with a completely unrelated set. I just think it's interesting how the date works out, but I personally don't believe this one. We know the game is coming out in Q2, which is any time from April to June, and March doesn't fall under that time period. However, it could still happen. Now we're going to get into this pretty big leak about a release date and an upgrade system. This was posted on the Reddit and I believe has since been removed, which is obviously questionable in itself, but I don't know. There's nothing in this to suggest that it wouldn't be real. There's nothing what I would call outrageous, unbelievable, or anything that kind of draws too much attention to it to make us start questioning, is this real? If it's not, everything in this sounds reasonable. So the user posted this: "Hello guys, I have some potentially truthful information from an insider at TT Games. It is 100% coming from an employee at TT Games and sounds pretty legit from what we've received in the news, so here it is. Basically, my cousin who studies in Manchester is a friend with one of the TT Games employees who is in the QA department, making sure that things work fine and finding and resolving bugs." So here's the actual update. The employee said that they are actually looking between April 20th and May 5th for a release date window, which does fall under Q2. He also mentioned the upgrade system, which had been spoken about in a recent interview, and basically here's how it works. You will actually have to complete certain quests/missions to unlock certain force powers. Think like in Fallen Order, for example, if you've played that game. And weapon upgrades for the given character with skill points, let's say like Battlefront 2's upgrade system. Only that you can unlock upgraded, more powerful force push or lightsaber throw, for example, as well as more damage, accuracy and reload times for blaster heroes. That's all I know, take it with a grain of salt, even though this is still coming from a TT Games worker. So first of all, let's touch upon that release date. It falls under the category of Q2. It also falls under the window for a May the 4th release date, which I know I've not really supported. I don't think that's going to happen, but I know that's a popular thing in the community, and TT Games themselves are probably aware of that. We're really going to need to get some information though in February, which we're only midway through February, so I wouldn't be getting too worried yet about a second delay. We've got 2 more weeks of February left, and getting any news, getting any release date, any trailer in February is reasonable as far as I'm concerned. This is coming from the guy who predicted that the game would be delayed the first time way before it was. I got that one right, and it's not to say I'm going to get this one right. However, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be delayed again. If we get to March, mid-March especially, and nothing has arrived, then you can start worrying. So the way you have to complete certain quests / missions to unlock certain force powers I think is fantastic. Maybe this will be in some relation to the Kyber bricks, we're not too sure, but just like the Fallen Order system, I love Fallen Order's upgrade system. That's fantastic. And then the upgrade system like Battlefront 2 with weapon upgrades for the given character on a point system, like a skill point system like Battlefront 2. Once again, maybe bringing in both Fallen Order and Battlefront 2's progression into this one game. Maybe they got some inspiration from it, who knows. But this sounds very reasonable. A very reasonable leak. Why would you make up a leak and make it reasonable? If you're going to make up a leak, you'd make it outrageous to get it so much attention. The reason this hasn't really got much attention is because it sounds so basic and real and there's nothing outrageous in it. I think that offers a possibility right there. The way this guy as well has a cousin who studies in Manchester with a friend of a TT Games employee. It's possible. Usually when you have connections like that, whether it be a family member, a friend of a family member, stuff like that, things like this can get out and it's not outrageous. So I'm led to believe this. But what I'm not led to believe is a second game delay. Look, I just don't think it's happening. June is a long time away, and I think June it still falls under Q2. That could be realistic, and we could get news from any point now in February and even in March if the game was to release in June. I'm not really thinking April, May. I know I predicted formally May 25th, and that's still a possibility, but the more and more things progress, I think that June is becoming more likely. But that is the news for today's video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, guys. Let me know your opinions as always about this in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next one.